Hello, guys. I hope you're all doing super wonderful and amazing. And basically, today we'll be talking about patch 14.20. And this is my tier list after having trying for like 2 days, seeing which champs are strong, which champs are weak, what has changed, and I'll be as well comparing the differences in the win rates in 14.19 and 14.20. And I have played a decent amount of games as well. To just literally just try out what's strong, what's weak, and okay, I'm abusing like Lilia a little bit too much, but it has Leandris, so I'll explain as well why this champ is very strong. This is like in Challenger Elite basically 74 win rate, 42 games, and basically I'll be going through everything that I think is strong and weak and why. Okay, so let's cover down. Let's cover basically a bit of the items first because the items did get changed and some champions got buffed, and let's cover that first. Okay, so the first thing I would like to cover is listen. So listen actually got 3AD, and if you look at the win rates, basically listen went from, let's see, 48.53% in Emerald Plus to basically 50.50%, which is actually huge, by the way. However, while I do think this champ is good in the right situations, and even before it was good, this champ is still not good with like a Yumi or Nami. Ideally, you want like an engaged support that can just set up for you, and champs like Syndra slash LeBlanc. These champs that are just like good with like 2 to mid jungle, okay? So Lee Sin is definitely good in the right situations, but I still do think AP champs are better for one reason. Think like this. And I'll show as well like Leon got nerfed, but it doesn't matter. So why does it not matter? Also, this item has been since the beginning completely OP. So think like this. Imagine Lee Sin can buy like the Leandri version on 80 on 80 champs, okay? Imagine he starts clearing super fast and item is good. Would it make Lee Sin an OP champion? Yes, it would. And especially if AP champs, they scale pretty good and they clear fast on top of that. So as long as the team comes right, AP champs are still better. And honestly, I haven't felt this nerf at all. I played a lot of like basically Lilia, and I tried some Rand as well, but I really don't feel Leon nerf, so it's still really really good. And I've tried as well the new Storm Surge, and I mean it's a little bit nerfed, but it's still very good. So Storm Surge got nerfed as well, which is important. I got 5 AP less and basically 25 damage less and 5% less AP scaling. So let's say you have like 200 AP, it's like 10 less damage, right? But it's still a very good item because if you buy this item against champs that don't buy MR, it's complete one shot. Okay, so it's still very good. So these are some of the item changes, and the other thing that we I want to cover especially is Shyvana. So I think this champ has always been like pretty decent. I never thought this champ was very OP, but we can look at the nerfs, right? Basically, it deals 2% scaling more damage. It's like it really doesn't matter. That's like almost nothing. 2% is like the moment you have 200 AP, that's like 4. That's like sure. That's like it doesn't matter, right? Some burn damage less, which is 20 flat, and basically the AP scaling is still the same. So it's some nerfs, but it actually doesn't matter that much. This champ is still good in the right situations, but I would have her on A tier. I think it's A or B tier, even B tier actually, because I think these champs are actually better. But this champ can be A tier honestly in the right situations, but this champ is just like so AFK in the early game. And F6, she's actually not weak, but I think that other champs just can do more, you know? And yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is like Skarner. This champ was S plus on my list first. This champ is still very strong. The passive got nerfed, and passive's kind of often used, and the E got a bit nerfed. But the kit of this champ is still very strong, so it's still A tier, if not S tier. This champ is just really stupid. But I would still say that the AP champs overrule Skarner at the moment because these champs in team fights they just clear fast and have more tempo, which is why I rate these champs higher than Skarner. I would put Skarner S if games are a bit slower and you can farm, but with these champs, all of those above, they're just pretty solid. Besides Grand, but Grand is just like OP champ because like insane team fighting, good against most champions, good against melee champs, good against range champions, and it can't really get punished that well. And a lot of other champs got nerfed, which makes this champ a lot stronger. So yeah, this is basically all the things, and the one thing that actually has been changed a lot, which is Graves. Because pay attention to Graves, okay? Graves basically is actually went to first and was like a lot lower first. At like 50.45 win rate, now it's like 51.5 and like ranked first, right? But why is that? That is because Collector basically got buffed. So what they did is that they removed 10 AD, which is worth 350 gold, and it's basically like right now if you count goals, like 450 gold. So basically, what it is, they just made it 100 gold cheaper and easier to access the item power spike. So that's the main reason why you see a bit more Graves as a high win rate. Do I think this champ is really good? No. Against AP champs, Graves is still weaker. This champ though is very, 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 very good against champions that run into you. So if you don't know how to use LoL analytics, one thing I like to do is that I like to do delta and check the win rates like weak against, right? So usually this champ is just weak against most AP champions, as you can see, Karthus, Karner, slash tanks, and good against like champs that are like melee running into you, okay? You can see like more melee champions. But in the right situations, this champion can, no, not can, is good, but it's not always good. So those are basically the biggest changes when it comes to like items. And I'll now break down my thought process on why I think these champions are strong, okay? So I put Gwen on, well, S tier because this champion is just good against almost every single of these 8 champions, especially in team fights. And this champ just deals, well, very balanced damage and it can get punished. And the thing is that the ganks aren't even that bad after 6, but pre 6 usually just AFK farming. And in most team comps at the moment, why I put this champ high, okay? Is because of this. It's because usually in the current meta, if you look at the tier list, look what's being played. This bit was being played at the moment, okay? And why this champ's strong is because a lot of champs are like either close range, which is very good, or if let's say the outrange like Hui, then well, they can't hit you. But if basically engage, disengage, good front to back. It is just like very good kit, and a lot of champs got nerfed, and Gwen didn't really get touched. So that's why I put this champ pretty high on the list. And as for Lilia, I mean, okay, maybe I'm biased, guys, but I'm playing this champ in like Challenger Elo, and basically like I'm Grandmaster, but I'm basically playing against Challengers, right? Yeah. The thing is like why this champ is good is because very often people don't go cleanse. And if people don't go cleanse and you have like flash ult, it's like you land a good ult, enemy team is pretty cooked. Which is why this champ becomes very good because this champ has a lot of mobility. If enemy doesn't go cleanse, you can literally win solo fights. And the clear nerf, I don't even feel it. And because of the high mobility, you can actually look to invade early game and your skirmishing is very strong. So, well, why is Uri still strong? I mean, just fuck this champion, bro. Like, unskilled champs play this. Unskilled people play this champion, but if you play it, good job. But I would say that this champ excels playing against melee champions. If you get kited, not so good. But it's just very good against like most champions. And the scaling isn't even that bad. Yeah. And Karthus, well, why Karthus is good? Because I think Karthus is actually very underrated. If anything, I think it's actually like really, really strong. You can still go Leandri Malignus on this champion, and bro, like, especially lower elos, if you go Dark Harvest and this Fiesta, this champ is so good. And this champ is very underrated, by the way. So why is Viego good? Because Viego, honestly, if you mid, you just need setup. You need setup on mid and AD carry. If you have setup on mid and AD carry, it becomes a lot easier to play this champion because you can easily get a reset and just 1v9 in the fight. But the thing is that this champ is not that easy to play, especially in lower elos, because you need to understand the champions, you need to understand a bit how to team fight. But if you do know a bit of the other champs and you know how to team fight, this champ is really good because it has really good clear, really good tempo, and basically it allows you to like 1v9 fights if you get a reset, basically. So this champ is very good and it's the only AD champ that I put on S tier because the tempo on this champ and the ganks is good, and that's why I put it on S tier, okay? So next thing is Brand. So why did I put Brand so high? Because essentially Brand teamfighting is still omega cracked, and Leandro Ryla is just so good. And if you look at my build, actually, I even go Ryla on Lilia. I just think this item is super, super good. And the thing is that Ryla is that you slow enemy for 4 seconds, okay? And slowing enemy for 4 seconds and burn them is just like, well, quite OP. So yeah, the clear is a bit worse. So that means that you have to be a bit more careful about ganking lanes for fun, because essentially this champ has insane scaling, and Brand and Lilia, Gwen, like all these champs, right? Like these four especially, even this one a bit, but especially like this. If you just farm, you win a game. So don't go for random ganks and make sure you just farm it well. Go for like 90% ganks that work. If not, just focus because these champs scale really good. Okay. So I'm just gonna cover the A tier mostly, not really B tier. So just so you guys know, but basically, I think Vi is pretty strong for one reason, because if you didn't engage, Vi, well, it's just really solid. It can press R, good follow up. I would only pick Vi in the right situations. So here's one. Okay, this one inted, I guess, but actually no, my support inted. But basically, I pick Vi in situations where I need some engage, and I have like an AP mid laner, because it's either you pick Jarvan, Lee Sin, Vi, but I like Vi, and I think I play against LeBlanc often, because like, well, Vi against LeBlanc, you can lock them down, and you can basically just like have a good 2v2/3v3, right? So I like Vi in situations where you just need an engage and a little bit tanker champion. And as for Xin Zhao, well, why Xin Zhao strong? Honestly, this champ's actually underrated as well. I think if you play front to back, and especially if enemy team has to come into you, this champ can tank so much. It is very solid. The problem is that it clears a bit slow, but you know, it's still not too shabby. And as for Diana, it's honestly situational good. Most of the times I would even put her B, but the thing is that I put her A because with the right drops, this champ is still very good. People just suck against engage. Like if you play an engaged jungler and people are just out of position, have no flash, they just die. You get a Drake, you win a fight. It is very good. And as for Talia, basically why I put Talia on A tiers, because with this like same thing as Brent a bit. Their clears got a bit nerfed, but in team fights and in right situations, they're still really good. I would even put Talia S tier if enemy team has a lot of dashes, like Kalista, you know, and like Wukong, like whatever, but some dashes, right? And that's why I would put her good. And honestly, regarding Zyra, I would even put her S tier, but I put her A tier because this champ is very, very good, but you need to play up tempo and be first on objectives and make sure you don't make mistakes. Then she's S tier for sure. But even then, the problem in solo queue is that this champion, people just play way too fast. People don't know how to play slow. And because people don't know how to play slow, this champ is worse than all of these other champs. Because the other champs play fast. Okay? But in general, she's S tier, but I prefer A tier for that reason. And Skarner should be S tier if you need a tank, honestly. But it's just that his clear compared to other champs is slower. So he's like at less places at the right time, which I put him A tier. But let's say if the game is slow and controlled a bit, for sure S tier. Let's check the win rate a bit, but I think this champ's still pretty high, I believe. Oops, that's the wrong one. Skarner. I mean, it's still pretty solid. It is the highest tank win rate with Zek, I guess. Okay. But yeah, why Rumble's good? I mean, I don't know what rank Rumble is, but I think this champ has been very underrated. The winner is complete dog shit, but I truly believe that people just don't know how to play this champion. Because this champ actually wins against most champs 1v1. If you overhit, you just fucks everyone. If you have some setup, you land a good ult, you can actually burn people alive. And this champ is pretty solid, I would say. Jarvan, why is it A tier? Because, well, like I said, the meta is just immobile, so people play Hwei. This is a general tier list, okay? Just look. This is the only reason why I put Jarvan even on like S tier or like A tier, because look at the champs, okay? Like, guy's not really immobile, but Vex, Hwei, Senna, where's Syndra? Syndra's pretty OP as well. Jinx, but very strong champs in general are immobile, and that's why I put him on S tier, because basically I just know for a fact that, well, you know, Mr. Jarvan is like strong against immobile targets. If they're mobile, not as good, but you know. And as for Kha'Zix, why do I think Kha'Zix strong? Well, simply said, I think in Kha'Zix now though you can actually go like Hubris, and you actually do a lot of damage. I think right now people are running Hubris. I could be wrong, but I think Kha'Zix is strong, not against tanks, but against squishies is actually pretty good, I think. So let's just go to jungle and let's find Kha'Zix. So there's people going Yumus, but I think I've seen Hubris and it seems actually pretty strong. Actually, you can see it, like it's like really high win rate. It's like 57 win rate. compared to all the others one. So I do think Full Lethality Kha'Zix is back with Hubris, and it's something you should try, especially against squishies. But I think this champ is even S tier in the right situations. But yeah, I think Assassin Kha'Zix banks. Well, why is X strong? I mean, this champ is good. It's like this champ clears a bit slow, but if you go team fights and enemy team doesn't have too much to cancel you, this champ can create so much space. Not much need to be said. A move similar is just like if enemy team doesn't go cleanse, you can just 1v9 some fights with Flash Ultimate. And Graves A tier if people are running into you and the team comp is correct. Otherwise, I wouldn't say this champ is too strong. But yeah, overall, I would say it's solid champion against champs that run into you. So champs like Vi, Zin, Jarvan. This is these kind of type of champs, right? I would say it's pretty green too. But let's say he has to play against, like, let's say a Brand, right? Not enjoyable. Or Graves. Oh, sorry, Lilia. It's not too enjoyable, right? As for Needly, honestly, Needly just needs a setup. Needly just needs a champ like Nautilus or something, you know? Because you can't have like Needly with a Janna that's like open. So Needly is good in the right situations, otherwise don't pick her, please. You really need like a Nautilus, Leona, Rel, just some setup to make the champ like A tier. Why is Volibear good? Volibear, honestly, is just everything basically got tankier. Every damage item got nerfed on 14.19, I think, or 14.18. So Volibear has like base HP with his ultimate, and he builds a lot of HP. So he becomes a bit tankier, and he wins most 1v1s against most champions. So I put him a bit higher. Then basically, I think it was B before Volibear, but I put it on A now. So next is Elise. Why do I think Elise is strong? Because Elise is basically a very strong champion. And why is that? Because this champion, if it goes Storm Surge into Shadow Flame, Magic Pen Boots, it completely one-taps people. But basically, I'll be releasing Elise guide soon. And I'll be explaining everything literally on how to play Elise. And well, I actually played this champ for like 13 years. So look forward to it. But this champ's A tier. I would say S tier in right situations, but I feel like these champs are just more consistent than Elise. Elise is really good as well, but in some games she's just like just solid, you know? But you can't always pick her. Very draft dependent. Why is Notion A tier? I think this champ is strong because you even saw it in World. I think Owner played it. But basically this champ is good because, well, you turn map dark. If people have no flashes or they're mobile, you can easily kill them. But the downside is that pre-6 you can't do too much and you're very reliant on ultimate, but the moment you have ultimate, very good. Fiddlesticks A tier because basically, well, if people don't buy Mercs, and Mercs got completely inflation, it goes 1k right now, this champ's OP. So in right situations, it's even S tier, but most of the times A tier with like AD champions. So why do I have Nico here? Nico is just good against noobs. Even I fall for it. Like even I fall for like a clone and die to like some random ult and just lose the fight, right? The clear's not too bad. The scaling's alright. I think it's just A tier because for now people aren't too used to playing as Nico, so people usually need to get the habit of it. But you can always surprise people with Nico and make always random comebacks, and if you stay well fed, you can always win games. And next is Lee Sin. Why is Lee Sin A tier? Because this champion has always been good, by the way, but it's just so slow when it comes to tempo. Like, say you go in team fight, you're actually not weak, but getting to the team fight and farming up, being in the right place at the right time, just makes it a bit worse. But overall, solid champion, can almost do everything. And yeah, just solid. And as for Belvet, why is Belvet A tier? This champ has always been good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this champ, legit, is always good. Yeah, it's just always good. Belvet, where's Belvet? Yeah, this champ is just solid. It just has dashes, has some CC. If you get fat, you can completely snowball and carry the game, you know. And yeah, that's basically my top pros on like the draft. In the future, I'll be making basically, I guess, more guides because, I mean, people have been asking me for some guides, and I mean, the first one will be Elise, but like just really in-depth guide will help you understand like everything because there's so much information out there, but you don't know what's actually good. But I'll be releasing some banger guides basically. But anyway, I'll be wishing you guys a nice day, and I hope you guys liked the tier list. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer everything for like only the first day or second day. But yeah, have a nice one. Peace.